This episode is brought to you by Anivia Pickleball, your premier destination for high-quality pickleball paddles designed to elevate your game. At Anivia, they are committed to providing players across Canada with innovative, performance-driven pickleball paddles crafted for durability, precision, and ease of play. Irene and myself are currently using their Gen 3 Pro paddle, and if you head over to Anivia.com and enter the code AGorman15, you get 15% off your order. That's AGorman15 at Anivia.com. All right, on with the show. All right, welcome back to the Pickleball Diaries, everyone. I am your host, Andrew Gorman, joined as always by my partner in crime, Victor Chan, certified pickleball referee. How's it going, Vic?
Good. Not too bad so far. Still, baby's doing good. Sleeping a little bit more. So I think we do. I'm doing good at some way. And then we're getting closer to Christmas leave, so that will help me a lot to regain my strength, as we call that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been insanely busy with work. We've actually, for those of you are wondering why this took so long to come out, we've rescheduled this recording like 5 times now because
how was your Ulrich thing? It was like I think, is it because you're saying it's getting cold?
I'm just all over the place. Like I've been up in Fort St. John's 3 different times. Today I was down in Whitecourt, and then just you finish up at 4 or 5 o'clock, and by the time you get home it's like 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes you're staying over at camp. Like when I was in Fort St. John's, I was staying over for like 4 days at a time, doing like two or three jobs. So, wow. And at the camp is nice, but there's not good enough internet to actually do a podcast. So.
Yeah, you told me a couple of times. I was like, I have no connection.
I got no connection. I said we had a bunch of phone calls for like MILP that like I was supposed to jump on with Vic with different facility owners or different possible sponsors, and I'm like, yeah, Vic, you gotta solo this one, buddy. I cannot. It was like I'll be like every third word might come through if I'm lucky. Before we get to anything else, my shipment of Tyrol shoes came in.
Nice.
So big thank you to our sponsor, Tyrol Pickleball.
I have mine too, but anyway, it was a little too small. I think I need to make an exchange, whatever.
Oh yeah, mine came in perfect size. So the one I'm holding up for people watching, this is the oh my god, Velocity V, and I got like the nice teal and orange and white. This one looks really good. I got the black and orange version of this as well as 2 other ones. But yeah, so head over to Tyrol, enter an AGorman20, get 20% off your order. Once again, thank you to Tyrol for becoming the official footwear of the Pickleball Diaries podcast.
Nice.
Now, on to what the title of this episode is. Vic, you got to have a conversation with Steve Deakin, and it was a really long one. I was awesome when when I watched it. So we're gonna cut to that right away. The legendary Steve Deakin.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to the podcast Pickleball Diary. Obviously, here one of the co-hosts of the Pickleball Diary, Victor Chan. We have the pleasure here to meet with the legend, the myth, the man, the legend of the pickleball Canada scene, Steve Deakin over here. Thank you so much for your time, Steve.
I really do appreciate the time you're taking here to have a chat with me. It's super fun, and I'm looking forward to the conversation we're gonna have.
Thank you. So, quick introduction of Steve. Obviously, he was a former tennis player. He did win 11 Canadian nationals in tennis. He was a former ATP tennis player. Was the 2-time senior world team player and captain for Team Canada. After that, when he transitioned towards his pickleball life. If I'm not mistaken, you turned pro around 2017. Am I right?
Yeah, I would probably say, 2018, but you know a lot more about me than I do about myself. So that's great. You're on the right track so far.
On the right track, perfect. So 5 times Canadian national champion, multiple U.S. Open champion, which I have the opportunity to go on I think 2022 or 2023. I obviously I was sandbagging. I was playing 3-0 at that time.
How dare you?
Exactly. Like even on the Canadian national, I was playing when I
Oh
met you
my
on
gosh.
2023. I was sandbagging at 3-0 also.
I love self-admitted sandbaggers. You're definitely owning it. So that we
Yes,
love.
obviously I'm not playing 3-0s anymore, but at that time I should have maybe three between 3-5 or 4-0. I would say I should have.
You're a medal hunter. What can I say? So
And then obviously countless other medal in the U.S. the PPA and the U.S. national have been a proponent in the PPA tour. Another great achievement is that you are the coach of the now the MLP Premier team, the Las Vegas Night Owls. So you bring from Challenger League all the way to Premier League. That was like an amazing achievement. You are also the past GM for the CNPL, so the Canadian National Pickleball League, the West Coast Wolverine team. Obviously, you are currently ranked as #1 in the PPA Senior Tour for both the men's and the mix. If I'm not also mistaken, you and Alta Merchant is undefeated in men's right now.
yeah. Yep. So far,
So
so good. Yeah, no, we've definitely been able to hold off our opposition. It's been quite the run so far, and we're looking to run that into year 3 next year. So we'll see how
oh
we
yeah,
do.
definitely, and obviously you have been always our Pickleball Canada ambassador, and now you are also one of the main collaborators for the new facility in Saskatchewan in BC, which is the Nest that I think you guys are building over there. Which me and Andrew are hoping you guys can host the national, so it'll be closer for us to go.
Those are all definitely things that are in the drawing on the drawing table for sure.
Oh yes, definitely, definitely. So obviously, uh, just recently from you announced you'll be retiring from the regular PPA tour and now focusing all the way to your PPA the senior tour. So congratulations on amazing career and
Thank you.
on the PPA. It was always good to see to able to connect, like having a Canadian in the PPA and always be able to basically show up for Canada, I can say.
No, I really appreciate that. That's a very flattering and informative introduction. I'm not going to lie. It's been an amazing 7, 8 years, and it didn't come without adversity and injuries and
Mhm.
setbacks, and it's just been an incredible ride and experience, and it was just time for me after this season to move on to a different part of my career, and I'm still going to be competing on the PPA tour, like you said, on the senior end of things, and that's going to allow me a lot of time, to focus on, as you mentioned earlier as well, the Nest facility that is currently being built in Tawasin right now.
Yes, exactly, and which is like I think it's a huge facility, like 60 court, and then another 16 that you can put on the volleyball side, right? Am I not mistaken?
Yeah, so we're gonna have a 14 court dedicated facility on the one side, which are all going to be professionally spaced and lit.
Nice.
And then on the other side, which will be volleyball for some of the day, will turn into pickleball during certain times of the day, and we will have 8 courts over there. But
Nice.
for large scale tournaments, we're going to be able to take over that volleyball side and
Hmm.
be able to lay down like a pickle roll surface. So
Nice.
we will be able to achieve another 15 courts for
That's
any
great.
sort of large scale tournament, just to keep the surfacing consistent.
No, that's great. I think BC is definitely needing those indoors pickleball for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely been a void. There are a handful of other indoor facilities that are popping up. There's some 7-court facilities, 6-court
Hmm.
facilities in Richmond. There's a 9-court facility in the Coquitlam area, but we are starving for indoor courts,
Hmm.
and when I was pitched this venue about a year and a half ago, from one of the partners who made
Yep.
this all possible. It was a very refreshing meeting I had with him, and I felt very confident in the direction that this group was going, and their vision aligned perfectly with mine. So it's been, we work well together, and it's been a labor of love, to be honest with you. And
Nice.
what the partners did to make this dream come true for our pickleball community here locally,
Hmm.
and in Canada,
Yep.
has been amazing. And they brought me on to be the director of pickleball there,
Nice.
and I'm so excited to kind of have this blank canvas, if you will, to
Hmm.
be able to create, a facility that is community based first, and also, is attentive to the needs of the competitive pickleball player as well. So we're ultimately excited. We've secured the 2026 BC Provincial Championships
Oh, nice.
at the venue, which is going to be running July 22nd to 26th.
Very
And we're
nice.
working on a couple of other large scale tournaments right now for
Nice.
2026 that will kind of round off that tournament season for the Nest.
Hmm.
We're really wanting to, promote this club as community first, and we just want it to be the hub of pickleball, not only in our Lower Mainland area here, but in Canada.
Yes, definitely. Obviously, you are also you did have a pickle. I call that pickleball school. Obviously, from the Steve Deakin pickleball. Are you also will you be planning to basically that in the Nest facility will be your main hub or like your anchor, basically
Yes.
anchor hub, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The Nest will be the home of Steve Deakin Pickleball. It's something that, I've really dreamt of, throughout my playing career, and I didn't really have time to attack it the way I wanted to. But
Hmm.
yes, with this new facility, and me retiring from, the pro side of play, is going to allow me the time to really dig deep into my academy, and really start working on the things that are important to me, which are, junior development, high performance, learn to play.
Nice. Hmm.
These types of grassroots programs that, I think is not only going to help the Nest evolve, but it's going to help pickleball in Canada evolve. And I'm fortunate to have a team behind me that is like-minded, and we're going to really attack, this part of pickleball, and hopefully bring a great deal of professionalism to the sport.
Oh, definitely. Couple. So, come up with a couple question. Obviously, I have a couple question more. Obviously, into the pro pickleball. So, we're first of all thinking about how was your journey being a pro pickleball. Obviously, like in Canada, we're starting to have, but you are the pioneer, basically, to start as the pro pickleball scene. along with also a little bit with like Catherine Parental, but I will say you
Yeah,
are the more pioneer because you are basically based in Canada, which
right.
Catherine is not really based in Canada, right?
Yeah, no, I was going to mention, definitely Catherine as well. Even though she does, reside in the U.S. The journey for me was an interesting one because like I had a regular 9 to 5 job. I was playing tennis,
Wow.
kind of as a hobby. Traveling and playing some world team tennis and that type of thing, and then I had this shoulder injury that kind of catapulted me into pickleball. My dad kind of got me playing at a community center close to my home in Pitt Meadows. Back in 2016, I
Mhm.
instantly fell in love with the sport.
Nice.
I had like no idea what was out there. I played a lot of local events. I enjoyed it. We were playing on wooden floors in
Yeah.
community centers, and
Mhm.
playing with temporary nets, and and indoor balls. And I had no idea the scope of the sport. And I was able to kind of travel down into the US
Mhm.
in 2018 to kind of get a
Nice.
feel for what's happening down there. And it really opened my eyes as to where the sport was at that time, how far Canada was behind on the
Mhm.
pickleball end of things. And it really, gave me an opportunity to pursue a sport for a living. Like I had no idea that it was going to explode to where it is today. And, I came in to the sport, I think, at the perfect time, where, it hadn't been thought of as a profession yet. And,
Mhm.
majority of the players back in 17 and 18 were also having to teach pickleball in order to make a
Yes.
living, right? So, or else work
Definitely.
a day job.
Mhm.
So I was lucky to come in at that time. And I competed on the pro tour in 2019, while holding down a day job. And it came to a point where I was like, this is too much. Like, and that's when I left my day job at the end of 2019, started Steve Deakin Pickleball, and
Mhm.
really evolved my career. And at that time, as like a 44-year-old man, you wouldn't think that you could compete at a pro level of any sport at that age. But that's where pickleball was a great fit for me.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so it was amazing. Like I've seen all the evolution in the sport. I was involved in that. I saw the tour wars between APP,
Mhm.
MLP, PPA. I was, all went through that process. And seen the evolution of the sport, and what the PPA has done to evolve it,
Mhm.
bring more eyeballs to it, has been incredible in that short, kind of 6 years that they've, kind of been running their tour.
Definitely. It comes like from very far. Obviously, when I will say when I started pickleball, maybe around 2018, 2019. Obviously, wasn't really broadcasting anything until like maybe when PPA started to really broadcast those game on. At that time, pickleball TV didn't exist, so it was on YouTube,
No,
obviously.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. YouTube
And
and poor streaming quality, and like it's been amazing because I've like watched back some of the production from 2020, because I played in the PPA's first event in Mesa, February of
mm,
2020. And it's so cool to see the evolution, and in such a short window. Like you should see the production now at some of these
oh yeah,
Grand Slam events in Atlanta and San Clemente. It is amazing, what they've done with the sport, and how they've been able to bring thousands and thousands of eyeballs to it, and
mhm,
really grow the brand. And not only in the US, but in Canada, and Asia is a huge market now. And
mhm.
it's exciting, right? And it's provided a nice life for a lot of athletes.
Yeah, definitely. We're still hoping to have a PPA tour in Canada. We're definitely still hoping to have one.
Yeah. Well, you never know. You know what could happen down the road.
Yes, definitely. Another not touchy question, but we'll see how it feels. What's your best memory out of your tournaments or your play in the PPA tour?
Oh my gosh, that's that's a loaded question because like I've had, some incredible memories even before the, PPA was hatched back in 2020, but if we want to exclusively stay with that,
Hmm.
I would say like obviously, winning my first PPA gold medal pro event with Matt Wright was pretty
Yes. Oh,
special.
yeah. I remember that. I remember seeing
Early
that.
early in 2021, that was obviously a big milestone. Teaming up with Catherine, for a fair amount of the 2020 2021 schedule was super fun for me. Being a part of MLP
Mm.
has been really cool, although not on the playing end, but on the coaching end, and being a part of the that Las Vegas Night Owls organization is very special for me, and it's really allowed me a nice life for my family, and I'm super grateful for the new friends that I met, and it's just been the last 7 years I've been competing professionally. It's been a wild ride, I tell you. It's so much evolution, and so I've got I could go on and on and on, but
Oh, yeah, definitely.
those would probably be the most paramount achievements that I can think of while competing on the PPA tour.
Sounds good. Well, my next question is actually transitioned perfectly because I was about to ask you about how do you feel, and how do you actually able to basically coach with being the coach of the last
Mhm.
Vegas out, and how did you do it to bring the team from the challenger level to
Uh-huh.
the premier level? And this
I-
is like I would say this is one of your greatest achievement. I was like, oh my god,
Uh-huh.
you're able to bring that team to, like, obviously they have very good player. You have very good player on those
Oh
teams,
my
but
gosh.
still,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. We
still,
we
like,
we
it takes a level, right, to
For
reach that
sure,
to
for
the.
sure, and like I've this was my second season with this organization, and obviously we went through some changes in our organization, and of course our ownership group has to be on board with the changes that the management needs to make in order to build a championship team.
Mhm.
I was very fortunate, to be a part of this year's draft and have a little bit of input, of the players that we were going to select that were available. At the end of the day, our ownership group, obviously has to, pull the trigger on those transactions. But I knew when we had that team assembled for this year, I knew it was going to be a championship team, and every single one of those players, like I can't say enough about all four of them.
Mhm.
They all require something different from me,
Yeah.
and that's what's made this role as their coach rewarding, and I'm not going to lie, it's not always easy, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to manage the four players different personalities and what they require and how they work as a unit. How do you keep morale up when things aren't going well,
Yeah.
and I don't think we're unique, when you say, teams face adversity regardless if you
Mhm.
have a winning record or not. And so it's not always it's not always easy, but at the end of the day, we would travel as a team, we would eat as a team, we would always stay in the same hotels. We were very close, and that to me is paramount in building a true professional sports team. And they battled hard this year, and it's not an
Oh
easy
yeah.
schedule, because like
No, not at all.
even though we had a really substantially successful record, so much of our season was weighted heavily towards the PPA finals in
Yeah.
New York. And
Mhm.
you're playing against a team that's also hungry, wanting to get into Premier, and they were only given one spot away, right? So
Yeah.
your whole regular season is basically thrown out the window, and it comes down to this
Yeah,
one
exactly.
weekend. And there were some tense moments for sure, but they all proved that they are champions, and that they belong in the Premier League. And and I know they're all looking forward to the next season. And
Oh yeah,
I wish it.
definitely.
Yeah, and I'm excited for them. And and I'm hoping I can be part of that ride again with them.
Oh yeah, definitely. I hope so. They definitely need you on the team, especially you're able to
I,
bring them to the next level, right?
I think what I bring to the team is, I definitely bring, stability, and, a voice of reason. They're all amazing athletes, and they all have their own unique skill sets. And
Hmm.
it's, for me, that's special to be a part of. And, being a part of that championship team in New York, when, we had to cinch it in a dream breaker against the Nashville Chefs. And
Yeah.
just when we won that dream breaker in that deciding match, and we all spilled out onto the court, it was one of the most exciting experiences that I've ever been a part of. And to kind of deliver our team speech to the crowd in Central Park and on Pickleball TV was a very special memory for me in my career.
Definitely. I will say, at first, nothing. I'm not throwing anything on Pablo, but it's not easy sometimes to calm him down, because sometimes he's like he like he can be up, and he can be down. And like I will say, when he was playing with Federico
Hmm.
beforehand, like you can
Hmm.
see both of them basically had this difficulty sometimes to have that calming moment, like to, and
Sure.
that
Yeah.
that was preventing them be able to make it to the next level, make it to the finals,
Sure.
win the
Yeah.
gold medals. And having you being there, able to like calm the team down, calming him down, make, like you said, voice of
Yeah.
the reason, that helps
Hmm.
the team dynamic big time.
I absolutely love Pablo, and he was someone that I wanted on our team. When we started, making some moves earlier this year, and we knew he was going to be available. And he's got one of the most fiery personalities,
Hmm.
and he brings a lot of heat and energy to our team. But also, we've had some incredible on-court moments, with him. And I'm grateful that he is on our team. And like you said, it's sometimes all athletes, they need a voice of reason. And like, when at the end of the day, we're not perfect, right?
Yeah.
And and it's important, to understand that. And you can't always perform at your best. I don't care who you are and what sport you play. So
Hmm.
it's just, being able to gain that trust with a player like Pablo, and figure out what works well for him, and try to help him achieve the goals that he is very good at achieving. He's a premier player for a reason.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was sad to see him to being picked in the challenger level, but at the same time, I was like,
It,
I feel good for him after that, like being on your team and then now proving, hey, I belong to the Premier League, and there you go,
Oh, for sure.
right?
All four of our players belong to be in Premier, and it's I'm excited to watch them grow on that stage, because MLP and PPA tour are two completely different environments that
Yes.
involve different thought processes and preparations, and you just have a whole lot more to think about in MLP, as opposed to the regular grind of the PPA tour.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, so speaking of which, obviously we're talking about a growing player. So what like we know like pickleball has been growing so fast right now. What do you would like? I just saying like that. Let's there's a miracle happen. Like we can bring you back to into the 20s. Now you're and now you're starting to
Hey,
play pickleball. That like, basically.
yeah.
What would you have changed if you have if in your younger self? Obviously, now you see a lot like the pickleball pro age has gone down significantly. Now
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you have Annalie based or
Sure, sure.
like Georgia Johnson into the
Yep.
18-year-old
Yep.
bracket,
Yeah,
Hayden,
you got
right?
Hayden and Gabe, and all these young dynamic players that have really taken over the sport for sure.
Would you make any change like if you like now having you have all the experience, but now you have like your younger self body.
Oh,
How?
geez, I would hate, I'm just gonna go out and say it. I said, if I'm 20 years old, I think we have a new sheriff in town.
Yeah, I do
The
believe so.
the way these young guys move now, and the velocity at which they hit the ball, and the creativity that a lot of these top younger athletes have, it's simply unbelievable to watch. And obviously, paddle technology has helped with the evolution of the pro game. But I'm telling you, there's 10 different athletes that I can think of off the top of my head that just weren't there when I was playing in 2019 and 2020, and just the dynamic movement and shot creativity, and that competitive edge that a lot of these players have. And I'll be honest with you, the maturity level of a lot of these athletes is amazing. And what Anna Lee does week in and week out on tour is special, and
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever going to be another player in our sport that is going to be anywhere near Anna Lee. She is something special on the women's side for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. She well, not just competing, winning triple crowns,
Yeah,
like
like week in,
lights
week
out.
out. It's
Oh man,
crazy.
that's crazy. Like
It blows me away, because like there's a lot of new younger tennis converts that are coming into
mhm.
pickle, and I have, obviously, with coaching the MLP, I've spent a lot more time looking at film and watching live matches every week at these tours, watching qualifying events, and there are a lot of very, very talented younger players coming into this sport.
Oh
And
yeah.
and what Anna Lee is doing is mind blowing to me. It's she's
Hmm.
able to, I don't know what they've done with her, but her maturity level on court with
Oh,
regards to mental toughness is crazy to me. I can't tell you how amazing it is.
definitely. Speaking of which, what along the same way, what do you think right now pickleball has the pickleball like pro game has changed the most? What
Mhm.
would you think?
Yeah, no, that's, for me, like when I first started playing, there was you were taught early on, hey, you need to hit a third shot drop, and hey, it needs to be a cut, and hey, you got to be mindful of your transitioning. You got to dink to construct points. You got to be more patient, and a lot of those things are still true. But I think what's changed now is, the ability to say, hey, it's okay if you want to hit a third ball drive, go ahead, hit a third ball drive, but make sure you're
Mm-hmm.
hitting it to the right spot. Make sure that your partner understands what you're doing, and like I'm a huge fan of like applying positional pressure. So that
Mm-hmm.
is another thing that's changed. Where if you are driving a third or a fifth, I always want my partner to, look to put a little bit of pressure in through the middle positionally. Like these are things that just didn't happen, 6, 7 years ago. There wasn't too
Mm-hmm.
many players that played that, had that aggressive thought process.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had this discussion with a lot of people in the past, and everybody's like, oh my God, the game has changed, and everybody's just ripping everything, and and I see it, at the 3.5, 4.0, 4.5 level. But if you really dive deep into a lot of these pro matches, yes, the first couple rounds you're gonna, go through some teams that's their mindset. But
Mm-hmm.
as you progress into the round of 32, round of 16, the
Yeah,
cream rises to the top, and you still see careful point construction. And yes, it's
definitely.
changed with regards to third ball decisions and third ball tactics and transitioning decisions and dinking strategies and creative shot making. Of course that's changed, but dependent upon the opponent in front of you. Like I've seen, some incredibly patient matches in PPA finals
Oh yeah,
where, nobody's
definitely.
speeding a ball up. And that
Mm-hmm.
kind of contradicts what everybody says. Oh my God, the game is changing. And, and it has to a certain degree. But there's always going to be that thought process of being able to, you know, construct points thoughtfully, and that's going to depend on who the opponent is in front of you, what you're going to do. And that's why I tell a lot of people it's important to have a toolkit with every single tool in it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to be a chameleon out there and adapt your game to what your opponent's giving you, or what your opponent's strengths and weaknesses are. You got to be able to adapt to those changes and be able to hit every shot in the book. And that's why, I love pickleball for that reason. I've been playing for nearly 10 years now, and I'm still evolving, and I'm still learning. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still study film, just to, see how I can be better. And whereas was tennis was so much easier, right? Like it was tougher to obviously learn the mechanics and the technique and that type of thing, but strategy at the end of the day was simple in
Mm-hmm.
comparison to the complexity of what pickleball can be if you do a really deep dive into it.
Yes, I agree. Basically, I feel like tennis has a higher ceiling to like learn the
Y-
sport, but
For
once you
sure.
learn, like there is only certain stroke that basically you need to master, and then you're done. But
Yep.
versus like pickleball, a lot of people is actually comparing pickleball to like golf. Basically, you need to be able to produce so many different shot when you're into the game, right? So versus
Yeah, and and
uh,
and and you and you and you have to be able to do that, in a split second decision in some
mhm,
instances too, right? And that's the part of pickleball that is so attractive to a lot of different athletes at a lot of different skill levels. It's just the excitement of, and I always, and a lot of other players have referred to this. It's like chess, right? And
yes,
it's
exactly.
it's something where you have to think, you have to analyze, you have to know, walking out onto the court, what are my opponent's strengths, what are their weaknesses, how am I going to exploit their weaknesses, How am
Yeah.
I going to stay away from their strengths?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't always make the right decision, but it is something that this is a lifelong sport for me. I'm blessed to be a part of it, and its growth, and I'm super passionate about sharing my experiences, both on and off the court with anyone who wants to listen.
Obviously, I will listen. I
Thank
will definitely listen to you. Everyone should be listening to you, obviously. And well, speaking of which, we'll turn a little bit towards more the Canadian side.
Hmm.
What do you currently see the growth in pickleball in Canada? And if you have, let's say you have the ability to, what would you change with what is happening in Canada?
Yeah, that's a very loaded question, that I probably will have to be very careful in the way that
I know, I know. I probably
the
put you a
way
little
that
bit on the
the
spot
way
too.
that I answer it. Like there's a lot of positives that I see, like with the CNPL. I think was this their third year this year, I believe, correct?
No, well, yeah, they just finished their third. I
They
think they're
just
going to the
finished they
fourth.
just finished their third year, heading into their fourth year. I
Yeah.
think that has brought an incredible amount of visibility, to Canadian pickleball. I think each and every one of the provinces has really stepped up their game with regards to, putting on good provincial championships, really investing in the youth end of things. There, I still will maintain that Canada is behind,
Yes, indeed.
with overall development of the sport in comparison to our neighbors down south there. But I think we're doing the best that we can, and that's part of my vision with my career changing paths here is,
Hmm.
to hopefully have an impact in, where the sport is headed in not only 5, 10, but 15, 20 years, right?
Hmm.
We've got this amazing growth and excitement around it, but there still is a lot of work to do at the very highest level,
Yes, I agree.
with our governing body of pickleball in Canada. They need to be a little bit more forward thinking, with regards to how to develop the sport. And as I said earlier, they're doing the best that they can. I think they've made some changes with regards to how that's going to look. But I think they need to really leverage some of the more prominent contacts that they have in the sport, in every province, because every province has got a great deal of knowledge and wealth in it, and I think they really need to lean on that knowledge and wealth,
Hmm.
to kind of build something that Canada can be proud of.
Yes, definitely. Obviously, me and Andrew has been all the time criticizing quite a bit some of the decision of
Eh,
Pickleball Canada, and even some
Sure.
of our provinces. Like especially, I will say on our pro athlete. Like we feel that there is always not enough effort in supporting them to and listening to them, or sometimes just use them in some, like especially like in provincial nationals. Like if you want to be able to grow the sport like to the next level, you want the pros to be involved, you want to showcase the pros as much as
Sure.
possible, right?
Sure, I couldn't agree with you more on that, and I just want to point out that I think the provinces and our governing body at the highest level, and with Pickleball Canada, they are doing their very best.
Hmm.
But I also say in the other breath that they need to put a little more thought into the high performance end of things, and obviously I'm
Yeah.
very passionate about that because I was a large part of that end of the sport, and I've got a wealth of knowledge there.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, I think, they could start really going after, youth development right at the grassroots level. And I know
Hmm.
there are a lot of people in Canada that are very passionate about this, and and that's why, like at the Nest, I'm hoping to have a very deep junior, not only high performance juniors, but just youth development overall. I want it to be the
Hmm.
hub for youth development, and I know there's a lot of other passionate pickleballers in the country that share the same vision as I do. And
That's
and and
great.
listen, we will continue to poke away at this, but it is definitely something that we need all hands on deck for, and kind of a unified approach, instead of too many cooks in the kitchen thought process.
Hmm. Definitely. Obviously, going a little bit on the same subject, what will be actually your advice? Because we have a lot of very talented, like very close to be able to break through junior athlete right now
Hmm.
in Canada. I'll take example, Jacob Galway was one in here in Edmonton, Alberta. Sorry, I'm
Hmm.
very biased because
Hey, and that's allowed.
I'm
That's okay. Yeah.
Edmonton, but you have
Yeah.
all other juniors like Armand from BC, McConnor Dye,
Yep.
also
Yep.
from
Yeah.
BC side. I think
Yeah.
they're like the junior trying to break through to the next level. What would be your advice
I
to
just like
them?
to say, there's every province, I think, has these
Yeah.
stars that are kind of evolving, and it's obviously I had the pleasure of meeting Jacob in Vegas,
Hmm.
and was able to watch him play. But what these players need, and I think that's where you're kind of leading,
Yeah.
leading me with this next question, is they need support. Okay, they need support financially,
Yeah.
from possibly the provinces. Pickleball Canada, I believe, needs to put some budget into these players, because they are the future of this sport. It
Yeah.
is very, very expensive, to travel if you want to play professional pickleball. If you do not have the great fortune of having a playing contract with the PPA
Yeah.
tour, the expenses are through the roof,
Oh
and
yeah.
just in
Big time.
entries alone, and airfares and food and travel. It's extremely difficult, to be able to, have these players evolve the way I think they need to, without the support.
Hmm. Definitely, because you you can see, right, if you don't have a PPA contract, almost costs like closer to
Uh,
$500 just in registration fee. We're not
c-
even talking about
Correct.
airfare and the rest,
Correct.
right?
I'll tell you right now, if you're going to play a full tournament schedule, it's going to cost you $50,000 to $70,000 alone in travel. So
Wow.
it's
Ouch.
expensive, right? If you're going to play like a 25 tournament schedule, right? It's not
Hmm.
cheap, and they need, and it's tough now, because paddle sponsors are tougher to find now, that are
Yes,
willing to give
agree.
you actual, that are willing to actually open a checkbook and write you a check. That's extremely hard to find now.
Yes, I agree. Well, reason I know, I'm also a little bit a paddle nerd, so that's why you see a lot of the paddles at the back. So I'm doing also a
Yeah.
little bit of paddle review and stuff like that in our
Yeah.
podcast. And unfortunately,
Oh,
we
cool.
see there is a trend. Like it used to be like I would say couple of the company was a little bit more generous at some, like maybe 2-3 years ago in
Sure.
sponsoring, and then
Yeah.
suddenly right now, obviously the regulation, the UPA regulation, the fees, all of that is for the
Hmm.
good of the sport, but at the same time, because of those fee limit those company to give their budget in order to sponsor player, right?
Yeah, no, and with the amount of paddle companies that are trying to make a go at this, it's incredible, the competition out there right now, and that's what I mean. Like if you're not a premier company like an Onyx or a Selkirk or a Yola or somebody along that lines, that do have some budget to evolve. It's tricky for these smaller companies, and how do they get their brand out there, right? Like it's
Hmm.
it's it's tough, and to kind of attach your name to a PPA tour player would be amazing, but that doesn't come without a price tag, right? And a lot of
Oh
these
yeah.
mid-range to smaller paddle companies, they just can't afford to do it, and they just don't push their market that way.
Oh yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, so but I will say it's ever changing situation. So we'll see. Eventually, it could. We'll have a different discussion maybe later on that.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Like, and I'm not surprised that when I hear certain things, and what we talk about here now will change in the next 6 months to a year, even, right? So it's evolution, and and that's what's going to make this sport great and have longevity.
Awesome. One last question to close out. Obviously, my question is like, what's next for you? So you kind of already alluded most of it. You're going to the now focusing on the PPA senior tour. You're
Yeah.
also going to be more focusing on teaching at the nest. Anything else that you also wants to look at?
But yeah, no, my life, kind of sad to say, if you're not a pickleball player, my life is pickleball,
Yeah.
and it's something that I love, and my energies and my focus for the next couple of years are going to be put hard into the nest, to ensure that assemble the best possible and professional coaching team, that we bring in some of the largest tournaments and events, and create that really nice facility for community growth, right? And
Mhm.
we've really positioned ourselves well there. We've got Pickleball Depot, who's been an
Yep.
incredible support of myself throughout my pro career. They're going to be opening their kind of third brick and mortar
Oh,
store
nice.
right inside the nest. So
Oh,
we're going to
wow.
be like a one-stop shop for everything pickleball. So we're going to definitely continue there. I'm hoping to maintain, roots within, MLP and the coaching and the management, hopefully, and of course, I still have to fill my competitive juices, and I will
Yeah.
continue my very best on the PPA Senior Tour,
Yeah.
with Altaf next year and into 2027, and hopefully
Nice.
we'll continue to dominate. And at this stage for me, this is fun for me now, being able to compete with players my own age, and know that physically I can keep up.
Yes.
So those are going to be like the primary things. Obviously enjoy, my family and our new grandchildren, and just try to kind of wind down the next 10 years, into retirement here. So
Oh,
I'll always
nice.
be involved. I'll always be involved in pickle in some form and some capacity, and I just love it. So it's a blessing, to be able to, be involved in a career that you love, and I'm grateful for that, and it's been an incredible ride so far.
Definitely. Definitely. Again, congrats on your very successful PPA well, season and also career, I would say.
Yeah.
But obviously now
Yeah.
you actually now you transition towards this senior tour. I'll wish obviously best of luck. Hopefully also same thing. Best of luck for the next MLP season. So we'll
Thank you.
be
Yeah,
well,
no, it's super exciting, and I think it's also important to mention that I'm really going to be focusing a lot on the player development, and
mhm.
the high performance and junior high performance, and a lot of coach certification programs, those types of things. So I'm
Nice.
hoping that we will be able to leave a really lasting impact on the sport, and being retired from the pro tour now gives me that flexibility to be able to really evolve the sport in Canada.
Definitely. Also, I will say, hopefully we'll meet you
Uh,
again in person. Hopefully you like.
y-
I think the Western Regionals get coming
Yeah,
back next year. So hopefully
yeah,
either the Western Regional or
yeah.
the Canadian National will be at the nest. So we can meet each other. Obviously, since I'm a certified pickleball referee, I get
Oh,
to
I love that.
travel if I go
Yeah.
if it happens. So
We
it'll be
will
great.
we will welcome you to the club at any time if you're ever in Vancouver. You just shoot me a quick text. I'd love to come and meet you and get you on the court. We have some fun.
Definitely thanks so much for your time with us. Obviously, big shout out to Sean McCartan, which is our GOAT
Yeah,
pickleball in Edmonton, to make
yeah.
this interview happen. But also definitely thank you, Steve, for your precious time with us. It was definitely a blast talking to you.
I appreciate you guys very much and all you do for the sport.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve Deakin, for giving us the time. Congratulations on an amazing main draw career. Now moving on to the senior tour as the current #1 ranked in the PPA senior tour. Vic, that
Yeah.
was an awesome conversation. How fun was that?
That was great. Like he was so easy to talk to. He like I like I said I met him in the uh, Canadian National. I think it's 2020, yeah, 2023 in Regina, and he was super approachable, super humble guy. It was amazing, and he's like a big wealth of knowledge of the pickleballs. Pickleball like skill and everything. So that definitely the Nets having him as the main coach over there that's amazing. Definitely they will propose to the next level, and hopefully like he said, um Pickleball Canada will do some more support to some pro Canadian pro pickleball players, so they can like they just to help them, right, uh to to play, to travel, to go play play at a better level, because it's just unfortunately here in Canada, due to the weather, there's just limited amount of tournaments that we can run, and most of the tournament runs in the summer. And yes, there is so many indoor facility finally open up, but still, like it is still quite small in number versus whatever that you have in United States, right? So, but in anyway, it is great for, since now he's only playing on the senior tour, he'll have more time to dedicate himself in coaching and being the advocate for our Pickleball Canada.
Awesome. Yes. So once again, thank you to Steve Deakin. I'm really annoyed that I couldn't make that call, but that was, like I said, stuck on the oil patch. Couldn't get into cell service, so I said, "Yeah, Vic, you got this." And Vic's also between the two of us, Vic is by far the more PPA knowledge person. if we were talking to a CNPL pro, I might have Vic beat, but
Yeah.
But yeah, Vic definitely was able to pull out his knowledge of watching Steve play in the PPA and all that fun stuff. My favorite memory of Steve Deakin was at the same nationals in Regina, watching him and Brad play, and he does that. He falls down, gets up, and does that behind the back shot to win the semifinals. That was awesome. It was funny because I was actually during that match I was playing on an adjacent court in my quarterfinals. Me and Irene won our match, and then we were glancing around the corner and we're watching that. We got to watch that live and in person. That was awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
So moving on to the next topic, there are new rules now for sanctioned tournaments for Pickleball Canada, which we were expecting to come, especially with the with DUPR taking over the rating system. Vic, so Vic, how about you kind of, as the referee, kind of lead us through what these new tiers are?
So now there's some different tier. They already have some tier. No one actually knows it until they publish it. They finally have a better, clear guideline on what kind of tier sanctioned tournament has. We're talking basically a little bit more about referee standpoint. Obviously, we're not talking about, because Pickleball Canada does not have point system or so on. We're not at the USAP level yet, like golden ticket and stuff like that. We're not there yet. We're now talking about just what tier system they have, how much referee. So obviously, the first one, the major championship, as always, everyone knows those are the provincial, territorial, or national, or even we call the regionals, right? Those are the biggest tournament, and those tournament they will, and they're guaranteed to have all medal match to be officiated at least by a level 2 referee or a certified referee. So the certified, which is the highest referee. Obviously, participant must be a Pickleball Canada member, and DUPR will be used as the ranking system. So that's for major championships, which is your highest level. Then next level we call the tier 1 premier tournament, which they say this for a standard level competitive tournament, which same. The all medal match will be officiated by a level 2 or at least a certified referee. Non-medal matches are encouraged to be officiated. So that's the kind of the change a little bit. It used to be non-medal match are officiated. Now it's just encouraged to be officiated. So there's no has to be. So there's no mandatory anymore, and participant must be Pickleball Canada member and same DUPR's ranking system. Moving on to the next one, we call tier 2 associated tournament, about the same thing, but now all medal match must be officiated by a level 1 or higher. So level. There is always more level 1 referee than the higher level. The higher the level, the lower number they are in different province. Non-medal match are encouraged to be officiated, but not required. So again, not required. Same thing. They have to be Pickleball Canada member, and they have to use the DUPR. And we have the last one, the tier 3 affiliate tournament, which I think we are trying to get.
Well, realistically, Vic, with you reffing most of our stuff, we could probably pull off a tier 2 if we if we think about it.
That's true. Technically somewhat we can do tier 2, but anyway, well, let's finish the tier 3. So tier 3 is more like this thing for community or developmental tournament. Referee are encouraged, but they are not required at all. The tournament is encouraged to provide the referee whatever is possible, and same thing, there has to be a Pickleball Canada member, and DUPR has to be used as a ranking system. So basically, having those tier system changes a little bit, like how much referee they gonna need per tournament. There's good.
especially because we both know that referees are not in like high population right now. They're a little scarce in certain areas, so it makes it a little bit easier. Like, say if a club wants to put on like a fun tournament for their members, it can still be like they can still maybe get some affiliates like money from Pickleball Canada, however much that could be. If they can get a referee into, maybe even if that money is just to help pay for like a volunteer referee to come in and ref, it just makes it a little bit easier. Whereas before, when there was mandatory spots to have refs aside from the medal matches, it was a lot harder for a tournament to get that many officials coming. Like, I know like provincials was probably short. I know nationals might have been a little bit short this year, right? So I think it makes it a little bit easier for tournament organizers to put together a tournament and still be able to possibly get money to help out from Pickleball Canada without having to worry about, okay, how many refs do I need for this, and can I even find that many refs?
Yeah, definitely. So there's pros and cons, right? If I look, so I have two hats right now because as a tournament organizer, hat is easier, right? In order to get those funding to tier, we can get into the, like, as the MILP tier 2 system probably apply to us because we're reffing every semifinal and finals anyway, right? So that basically for us is like, as a tournament organizer, yes, I know we really want to have every matches to be referee, but at the same time that comes with a cost, and that cost, unfortunately, is not pretty, like, basically the only offset we can have is basically participant. But if I don't have enough participant, then I cannot afford for referee. And the other thing is, like, there's other fee that we need to cover. People is like, oh yeah, MILP is like charging us $100. You should be gaining a lot of money. Well, people don't remember, like, don't know. Okay, I have to pay for the facility. I don't own the facility. I have to pay for the food. I have to pay for the balls. I have to pay for the Switch app. All that comes in line. If I have to also, on top of that, put a lot of money into referee, well, why am I organizing, right? So that's the
it's like, it's not, you don't host a tournament to break even. You want to make a little bit of a profit, if anything. So just so you have, if you like, for like us, where we are planning on hosting lots of tournaments, we would like a little pool there, so then that way, if an extra expense is occurring, it's not coming out of our pocket, it's coming out of the pool that we have put aside, type of thing.
Exactly.
Right?
So that like, as a tournament, like you said, a tournament organizer perspective, this is a welcome change, obviously, because that will help us to get that Pickleball Canada officiated funding in order to put official into those tournaments. Now I'm going to the other hat, as a referee hat. Is definitely not a welcome change, obviously, because then it kind of tells us that a lot of the tournaments, they don't need that much referee anymore. Like I'll take an example, the Spruce Grove tournament. So, like, in order for them to get tier 1, they just need to have level 2 and certified referee for medal match. They don't need to have like any other referee for all the other matches, right? Because they are technically tier 1, a tier 1 tournament, right? So that because of that, like, tournament organizer will think, I can save money on that. I don't need to put more official, like, pay for more official into those tournaments. And from the playing perspective and player perspective, it might be I will say, decreasing quality, because we're seeing more and more in social media. There is so many hooks, back calls. Those things are coming in. If you don't, or arguments, right? If you don't have a referee to solve that problem or to dissuade those back calls from either side, it's gonna those things will happen, and especially like people is currently very competitive in on DUPR. I want my DUPR rating up. I want my DUPR rating up. If you don't have a referee on those like high profile tournament matches, well, people's like, well, I'm just gonna step in the kitchen. No one knows, or oh, that ball was like that much in. I'll just call it out. No one's gonna no one's can overturn it, right? If I don't really care about my reputation, so that's that's the one thing. And especially another thing is like when there's a prize money involved. If you don't have a referee when there is a prize money involved, well, guess what? People will find a way to hook. Will find a way to cheat some ways, right? And then the because I just want to get the prize money. So those are kind of the things to consider. There's no perfect answer to that solution, because the other thing, we're not like USA. They have so many referee. They have so much more population also, right? We like if you look at some of the Maritimes provinces, they sometimes barely have maybe one or two referee in those region. They might even not even have a certified referee over those area, right? So they're gonna be stuck. I'm not getting any funding in order to host any tournament because I just don't have referee, and I don't want to pay money to have referee travel over, because that's an expense. Like if you have referee to travel over, like especially certified referee to travel over to those area for those tournament, well, that's an additional expense that's going to come out of your pocket, right? And so unfortunately for me, it's kind of, I'm 50-50 on that, because at some way we're dissuading the growth of pickleball referee number. Like unless Pickleball Canada find another way to word it, say if you have that amount of referee, or you have that amount of matches have like officiated, you get more money, stuff like that, in order to
something along the lines of like if you can show that you have enough referees to cover, say, all of your, say, quarterfinals on to medal matches,
like exactly to entice the tournament director to actually get referee, because right now, from what I'm seeing right now, they don't need to. They just say, "Oh, I don't need much referee anymore," right?
Yeah, because honestly, I figured, like when I first looked at it, I was like, "Oh, okay." Now, but then when I saw like tier 1, like a premier tournament doesn't need all matches refed, I'm like, that's like, I don't have a problem with tier 2 and 3, but that should be like a tier 3, tier 4 type of thing. I think like a premier tournament, if you're gonna be considered a premier tournament, all your matches should be refereed.
Yeah, exactly. So that's so I was like, that's why I was like, ugh, I don't.
I know it's to help deal with the fact that we are a big country as far as landmass, and everybody is spaced out a lot. So because I know a lot of times, like when we go to like provincials or nationals, like when nationals are like in Winnipeg, you got referees from BC, you got referees from Ontario, you got referees from Alberta going there, just because Manitoba itself doesn't have enough referees on its own just to host, right? So it's one of those things. And also because we are a couple years behind the US in pickleball development, you don't have as many people who are like, oh, getting into refereeing for that, whereas the US has that huge population of people who've been playing it since like 2010, who now like, okay, well, now I'm going to do refereeing on the side because now I'm up in my late 60s. Yeah, I might do a 60 plus category every now and then, but I still want to be involved. So then I'm going to ref, right? So it's one of those things where I understand the idea of going this way, and I can see like in a year or two this being slightly augmented to to work with what you were talking about, Vic. But I don't mind it right now in a way, as I think it's going to promote more people trying to put on tournaments because it's getting easier access to funding.
Yeah. So hopefully, we'll see. I hope they can tweak it a little bit and they actually put more in like funding into training more referee. I think that's the most important part. Not just trying to run more tournament, but like you need, like, yes, run more tournament, but you need also to find a way to recruit more referee in order to be able to have more tournament with officiated, right? And I think a lot of players will be pleased to have actually a referee in their match rather than to have a referee rather than having non-referee, right? A lot of time.
I know me personally, I love having, like, every sport I've ever played, I've always preferred having official. I don't even like playing, like, as someone who played college basketball, I don't even like playing pickup basketball because I prefer playing basketball with a referee.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just one of those things. I would almost like to see another tier made where it's like a training tournament for officials.
Yeah.
No, but but even if it's like so like you put on a tournament, it can be like, say, a low level tournament, so like only like 3-0s, 3-5s, whatever, right? Because there's always more 3-0s and 3-5 players than there are higher level players. So you'll still get these people coming out, but then they're going into this tournament knowing that a lot of these new officials are being trained. And honestly, they're going to be happy with someone calling the score out, because I know I personally hate trying to remember what the score is and stuff like that, right? But, like, another way to, like, that would be also a way to get more referees. And it's like, hey, we're going to there's this tournament, and this is going to be for helping you train. Like, you have like a head official there or whatever who's going to go through, like, because I know you've done a couple. Yeah, I know you've done a few, Vic, with you being a certified referee. You've done training once where you're standing beside the person or standing across and evaluating them and stuff. But, like, if a tournament was actually done for that, that would also, like, just something throwing out there. Speaking of which, I'm just gonna, at this point now, because me and Vic have been talking about trying to get our MIOP stuffs sanctioned. Pickleball Alberta doesn't respond to our emails because one of the stipulations with become sanctioned is you're supposed to have a letter of recommendation from your governing body of your province. Well, I've sent like 3 emails now and not even a response. So I might just send our application to Pickleball Canada and say, hey, I'm not getting a response from Pickleball Alberta. So, and, like, I have a certified official as the co-host of the event. We're both members of Pickleball Canada. Speaking of which, I got to renew my membership. But for those of you who are listening, make sure you renew your membership because they always renew at the end of December.
31st of December is the deadline, people.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like, even if we just got enough funding just to pay for officials, that'd be awesome. You know what I mean? Like,
that will.
Like,
that
send
will
us like 300. Send us like a couple $100, even if it pays for 50% of the officiating. That saves a crap ton of money. Right. And then you don't have a problem. Then you wouldn't have an issue. That would be the one thing. You get sanctioned, you get some money in and even if it came with the stipulation, that'd be one thing I'd like from Pickleball Canada. The stipulation is you have to use this money towards officials.
Exactly.
Right. Because then it's like, okay, yes, you're getting money in, but basically it's having, so you have officials, but now that doesn't take anything off your cost.
Exactly.
Right. Like, that would be one thing I wouldn't mind having. It's like, okay, so, like, say for example, instead of tier 1, it's like encouraged to officiate. Okay, if your matches are officiated, you get, say, let's throw a number out there. So say it's for championship, say it's $600 or whatever. So then for premier tournament, it's like $400. But if you use all of the money they provide for officials, it's $500, like something like that, right? Like, they basically
like that.
Provide the funding for the officials. Because my personal opinion is matches are better when they're officiated, because I've been burnt one too many times by people with really bad line calls or like kitchen faults that they don't call.
I give you another example. Sorry, not trying to throw shade at anyone. I just play fun tournament that was organized by some of our good friends, Femke, Diane Gibbs, and Trevor. So I was just, and when you're playing, you don't see it, right? And then I after we play, some of the matches was not over, so I was just watching for fun. some of the matches, I'm just watching, and there's like 7 foot. So basically, if you're no official, no one's gonna call those. There's no, and just that's just a friendly tournament, and on one game alone, I can see 6 to 7 kitchen violation. That's a lot. So,
yeah, exactly.
like if there is something on the line, well, that inch makes a huge difference, right? Like be able to reach past that kitchen line. This is a massive advantage versus you have to stay behind that kitchen line, or some people like take that additional step into the non-volley zone. Well, that's a unfair advantage in some way. So like since it's a fun tournament, it's fine. No one cares. But if it's a real tournament, when there's DUPR on the line, there's prize money on the line. Well, that's a different story. If you don't have any official, because people will be, well, is it a makeup tournament that no one cares or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. So yeah, so yeah, I think a step in the right direction, but could use some tweaks, and we'll see how it goes over the next year with this new tiered ranking or tiered system. Moving on to some other big news. So DUPR is now the official rating system of the USAP. So DUPR is basically taken over at least to USAP, Canada and the US.
USAP and APP.
Yeah, well, yeah, and because USAP and APP have like that deal or that
so
collaboration
you can toss that UTPR into the garbage can.
Yeah, well, and it was honestly not for APP was using it or whatever, like the one random tournament a year.
APP and USAP is using those, and then it's so difficult to actually understand the system, and like the numbering system does not make sense. They're not as same as DUPR. Like I was listening to one of the podcasts. They're saying, well, everyone knows like when you're 4-0. That's how you're supposed to play, right? The amount, your skills should be. But like UTPR is like another number. I think it's a 7 or 8. Like people are like, what the heck, 7, 8? What does it mean, right? Like in tennis, it's a different story. A lot of people is using the UTP ranking in tennis. A lot of people knows the system right already. But in pickleballs, unfortunately, DUPR has been already kind of adopted in multiple country, and it has been the longest, and people has been already get used to that rating system. So you trying to throw another rating system onto it is just doesn't make sense, and it just doesn't help the unity of the sport, right? If you don't have a unified way to rate your player, you can't be
you can't be taken seriously as a worldwide sport, right? So this is perfect, because basically the powerhouse of pickleball, the US, now is basically using the same rating system as Canada, using the same rating of everybody who's under the Global Pickleball Federation umbrella, which is now pretty much everyone, now that we have that unity that we talked about between them and the UWPF, I think it was, on the last podcast, right? So bonus now for all of you snowbirds. Now when you go down and play in the States and play in a tournament, now your rating is going to be properly affected. So when you come back up to Canada, so if you go down as a 3-5, you play a bunch in the States and you bump yourself up to 4-0. Now when you come back to Canada and want to play nationals in the next year, you can play in the 4-0. There's no more of this.
Less sandbagging in some way.
Yeah,
we can tell that.
Exactly. Yeah, so like this we saw this coming a mile away. Like it was basically just people trying to dig their heels in to fight like unnecessarily.
The Canadian one that I see TPR like I'm sorry, there's not enough tournaments. There's no way. No,
right? Well, I still see people complaining about DUPR. It's like, oh, people fudge it. I'm like, yeah, but I said it's the best thing we have right now, and it's at least taking steps to improve itself. Like you have the reliability score, you have the ability, if you perform well but lose, your rating can still go up. If you're supposed to win and you don't, and you barely win, your rating should go down. because we all know that DUPR is a little bit inflated because of people fudging their scores or playing people, the same 5 people over and over and over again. But like I said, give it 2 to 3 years, and especially if those people are always going to tournaments, it's eventually going to balance itself out. Because like we said, there's people who we know who have like a 5.3 on DUPR who are not a 5.3.
Yeah,
like not even close, right? Like I think me and Vic's rankings are probably about where they should be at, because like I've gone to a lot of tournaments and I'm consistently performing roughly at that level. Vic's played in a lot of tournaments, and then Vic, same thing, has played with me, against me, and is basically right around where we think we should be, right? Like, yes, I would love to get up to 5, but clearly I'm not there yet.
Yeah, we know we're not there yet.
Even though, and I like I said, I've beaten people badly who are like a 5.1, and I'm like, yeah, your score is inflated. You're not a 5.1. You are like a 4.7, a 4.6.
It's not like a true 5.0, basically.
Right.
Call that.
And well, that's what we said. Like when you have people who are saying, yeah, the 5.0 is a pro. 5.0. Okay, if we were gonna stick with that, saying 5.0 is a pro. Anyone who is not actually playing pro and is anywhere between 5 and 5.3, realistically, your DUPR is probably inflated, and you're probably more like a 4.8, 4.9, or 4.7 type of thing, right? But like we said, it's gonna take a little bit, because it does take a long time for your thing to drop. Like, unless you go and play someone who's 3.5, like say if we use me and Vic for example, we go play someone who's a 3.5 and we get blown off the court. Yes, then our DUPR will freaking tank.
Yeah, we'll tank big time.
Major. But if we're just playing other 4.5s or other 4.6s or 4.7s or 4.8s, and it's a close game and we lose, movement. We might go down like a 0.001 or go up a 0.002 or something like that. Like, you're kind of hovering in that little space majority of the time, right? So, so yeah, like this makes sense. It's putting everyone under the same rating system. Yes, there's still some issues with DUPR, but like I said, it's the one that's constantly still trying to grow. It's constantly still trying to prove. They're constantly working on the algorithm and things like that, right? So for me, it is the one that's doing the most work and also the best option right now. So
I agree.
If you don't like your DUPR score, if you don't like the reliability score, well, sorry, sucks to suck.
Get a new profile.
Yeah, exactly. And eventually, once, like right now, Canada hasn't done it, but we'll see if Canada announces it for next year. Right now, there's no DUPR verified tournaments in Canada consistently. At least nothing under the Pickleball Canada banner. But in the US, there is.
Yeah.
And once that happens, you need a DUPR Plus account, which then you lock your phone number into the account. So unless you have about 5 or 6 burner phones, good luck at creating another account now.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
I love the idea of it. I'm not big on the fact that it's behind a paywall. Yeah. Right. But realistically, if you care that much about your DUPR and you want to go to those certified events, realistically, you're willing to pay that money anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So like I said, if all of a sudden Nationals next year became a DUPR verified event and then a bunch of MILP stuff became a verified event, I'd get a DUPR Plus account, because I'm going to go play in those tournaments because they're the best. They're supposed to be the premier tournaments. Right. Yep. So it's just one more thing to pay for. Like, I know in the US, all of MILP next year is a DUPR verified event, so you do have to get DUPR Plus if you want to play in MILP. Right. So, for example, if you qualified this year for the Nationals, and so we had some Canadian teams go down for the Nationals, they had to get DUPR Plus accounts to actually compete. Same thing if you want to play in the Epic Pickleball Championships that are being hosted in Singapore. That's a DUPR verified event, so you need a DUPR Plus account to play in that. Right. So it's coming. It's not coming quite yet for Canada by the looks of it, but it is coming. So get ready.
Definitely. And a lot of people are saying, well, my DUPR cannot, like you said, it's just going up and down 0.001. And how do I want to get higher fast? Well, there's two cheat codes, but is how much you're willing to do those, right? One, you go to PPA, play challengers, or you play pro qualifiers. So all you need is to get 1 point out of those people. Then your DUPR is gonna go up, right? Yeah. Because all those people are 5.5 plus, right? So
that's if you want to spend X amount of money to then get.
But you spend so much money
like two games and out.
Yeah, exactly. Or you let your duper tank to a reliability of 0, and then suddenly you're gonna play a 5-0 tournament. Then your duper's gonna shoot skyrocket. But but again, you need to play on a higher in a higher tournament bracket in order to do that. So basically, you have either way. In order to make your duper going high, you need to play higher level, basically.
Exactly right, and honestly, with the duper thing now, I can see them not letting as much of a jump because, like, I know for CTPR, if you were a 3-5, you could play in a 4-5. I can see it now where they're only going to limit that to a 4-0.
Yes,
right, because you're going to have too many because you're going to have so many people complain. It's like, hey, I don't want to play that 3-5 because even if I blow them out, I'm gonna drop.
Well, because at the same time, I kind of agree with that because sometimes it just happened. Like, yes, okay, in theory, you should be blowing that guy 11-0 or whatever. Like, let's say you have like a 5-5 and you're playing someone that's 3-5. In theory, you should be blowing them 11-0. But in the game, there's so many things that can happen that you might be a little bit well, either impatient or there is other factor you give away a couple of points, right? Or there is someone is starting to get hot and get into a row and then get multiple points. Well, there's not much you can do about those, right? So, but that's just put too much pressure to actually that 5-5 person playing against that 3-5 person. So I think most of those PPA challenger or qualifier, they have a cap. I think you have to get duper level of like I think 4-5 or 5-0 something like that, or 5-5.
And you have to be green certified or green reliable.
Yeah, something like that in order to allow you to play in those higher profile level events. So that would make more sense.
Yeah, well, because the problem with CTPR, for example, or the UTP or whatever, was that you could play a bunch, but then because, like say for example, our snowbirds, they go down to the States, they play in a bunch of tournaments because it doesn't translate to the CTPR. Your CTPR still says you're a 3-5, but actually now you're basically like the level of like a 4-0, 4-5, but then you're stuck playing in that 3-5. So that was why for a bit there, Canada, because it used to be you could move up half a point. So if you were a 3-0, you could play in the 3-5, or a 4-0 play in the 4-5. But last year they said, okay, if you're a 3-5 but your partner's a 4-5, you can play in the 4-5 with them.
Yeah.
Right? But the reason was because there were so many people complaining, saying, hey, there's not any CTPR tournaments in my area. I can't get my rating up, and I've been playing at a 4-0, 4-5 level for like the past year. Whereas now it's like, now you don't have an excuse. Now every tournament is under DUPR, regardless of if it's a championship, a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, everything is entered into DUPR. Yeah. Yes, somehow will have a higher validity for your thing to go up, but now it's based on your performance across the board regardless. And same thing, if you want to go play with 5 of your friends, play 30 games, get your reliability score up or whatever, go ahead and do it. But now it's at least all under the one system. It's all entered into the computer, so you're not going to have, like, it basically gets rid of the sandbagging, and it's eventually going to get rid of the people who are really low ranked saying that they should be in the high rank. Well, now you have to prove it. Right. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm stoked that it's now all one system. So now we don't have to worry about how many different versions of rankings we have. So
yeah, it's just so much easier.
Yeah, exactly. So to wrap up this episode, we have one more bit of news from the CNPL. The Southwestern Ontario Brewers are changing their name to the York Yeti. It's partly because they were their new owner, Cody Hodgson from the NHL, is from the York area in the Toronto area.
Yeah.
They're also moving to a facility in York as their main facility. They haven't said the name of the facility in the announcement on the CNPL website. Okay. But basically, it's going to be a facility that has can host professional pickleball tournaments. Going to have youth programming and development stuff. All corporate events, team building sessions, and business functions, all that type of stuff. So basically really focusing on this is a pro team, this is the pro facility, this is all the stuff we do for the growth of the sport type of thing, kind of like what you see with like the London Smash facility and stuff like that. So really excited about that. I love how they were able to get the Yeti, but Utah wasn't able to get Yeti, which is hilarious if we're talking NHL.
Yeah, that's true. They got the bamboo.
I do like the logo. The logo is really good. You got the Yeti with the paddle and the pickleball in their hand, and then you got like the maple leaf behind it with like half of it a pickleball court, half of it like the mountain winter wonderland type of thing.
Yeah, you need to change
really
your magnet at the back then.
Yeah, obviously. Right. Okay, Kyle. So this is out to Kyle Hermetz now, who is a member of this team. Send me a sticker or whatever so I can cover up the Brewers magnet that I have and put the Yeti logo on there. I literally just got these magnets like last season, and now I'm going to have to change that one. And we know we're going to have to change the Pronghorns one because the Pronghorns have a new owner. The logo has already been removed off the CNPL website as well. The Yeti one hasn't gone up yet, but the Brewers one is off there as well. So we know the Pronghorns are more than likely changing their name. It hasn't been announced yet what it is.
Yeah.
But so that's 2 magnets now. Like, what the hell, guys? I also want to throw out there to all of our pros listening who have played on teams that no longer exist. If you have a spare jersey that you don't want, I will take it. So like now we have a Brewers. We have the original Rollers jersey. So, Corey, I know you have a couple of those. We'll have the Pronghorns jersey now. So maybe shout out to like Caitlin Soroka or like Brad Chapman. Hey, send me one. The West Coast Wolverines. We're going to see Joel within the next couple of weeks here. So maybe Joel can give us one of his old jerseys. The old East Toronto Smash. Who played for them? Kim Layton, Christina Chin played for them. Chris Elaine played for them. Nathan Choi played, so maybe I'll bug Nathan about it from Anivia. The old Rocky Mountain Rush or Vancouver Rush. So there's actually 2 different jerseys for that. But I would love to have like the old set of jerseys behind me here because that'd be really cool. But yeah, so I need 2 new magnets now so I can do my proper standings here behind me on the podcast. But geez,
newsflash, unfortunately, I couldn't buy the Pronghorns. I did try hard to buy some lotto when I was down the state. It was the bigger million was like $1 billion or something like that. Then unfortunately, someone in Georgia won in Atlanta. I was like, what?
Yeah,
they could give it to me, and then I'll just buy the Pronghorns.
Yeah, and as far as we know, the Lions are still for sale. But yeah, so it's just. Yeah, so me and Vic don't have the money to buy a team, or else we would. Because honestly, I would love to see at least 2 more teams come into the CNPL, give us a full 10. West Coast people who have money, come on. It's only the Owls out there right now because I'm pretty sure the Pronghorns are relocating to probably somewhere like Waterloo or like the Toronto area.
So we're biased. We need something in Alberta for sure.
Well, hey, there's that new facility that just opened up in Calgary with that Tracy Bennett's the head coach of.
Is it 315 something
it's
like
like
that?
court it's like club or court 315. Hey, whoever's the owner of that, maybe buy a team.
They have 25 courts. Oh my God.
Exactly. So hey, there's the spot for next year's provincials. Let's go.
Oh yeah,
right?
Big time.
All indoor.
I want to like as a ref, I rather ref indoors than outdoors.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, so yeah, shout out to the New York Yeti team. So that's Kyle and Ava right now. And who else did they sign? Why am I blanking?
Which one?
Audrey. Sorry. Apologies, Audrey. So the York Yeti. So I can't wait to see what their new jerseys look like. Also, everyone, all the teams, get your logos and jerseys into Kling, so Kling can sell all the teams' jerseys, not just the Northern Lights jerseys. Because I do love those jerseys, and we're gonna get one of those. But I would love to have all the team jerseys up on the wall behind me, or something like that, or in like a nice little frame, kind of like this one behind me here. But so we get on that with Kling and get a full shop, because they have the CNPL hat, they have the CNPL socks, they have the Northern Lights jersey, but we need all the other teams' jerseys in there as well, guys. Come on,
big Yeah, big time. We need those.
Aside from that, we will do one more announcement here, Vic. So we have 3 MILPs already scheduled for next year.
Yep.
We have our 3V at the Hub in Edmonton on February 7th and 8th. We're at the brand new Pickleplex in Red Deer on, that's the March, what was that, 14th, 15th, Vic? Oh, Vic's grabbing the poster from the from behind him there.
Yeah, 14, 15. There you go. See that?
14, 15. Yeah, if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube right now, Vic's got the poster in his hand there.
Yeah, sorry, we don't have the one in February yet, but once we had it, I'll show it to you. Yeah, you guys right away.
Yeah, and then we also just penciled in. We're back at the YAG in April for another 3V event, and that one is the 18th and 19th of April, Vic.
Yes, I believe so. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it is. So yes, for all 18 and 19.
18 and 19 of April. Perfect. So for all 3 of those, registration hasn't opened yet because it's not live on the Swish app. But stay tuned for that. I will do a big post each place as registration opens. We need to get in and get some footage of Pickleplex fixed so I can get
I'm
so
going
I can
on
make
Friday.
their intro video. So Vic's
heading
down to their grand opening this coming weekend
on Friday.
And then we're also going to be down there playing in an event on the 20th of December. So I'll get to check it out there as well. But it looks really good from the photos.
Looks pretty wide and high, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
High. So get your lobs in.
Yeah, exactly right. So super excited about that. Shout out to the 3 facility owners for hooking us up with some locations. We are planning at least 2 to 3 more. Probably at least probably 1 more before the summer break, where all of the summer tournaments come in, because there's no way you're competing with that. So probably 1 more in May. I think we're aiming for possibly Red Deer for that one. We're still in talks for that, and then we'll be back for like September and hopefully October for another one. So we'll have hopefully 6 by the end of the year all scheduled, and hopefully we can have at bare minimum 5 of them booked before the end of December. It's kind of the goal. The 6th one we'll see, because it depends on time and location for that one, but definitely one in May, and then definitely one in September. We're just sorting out the dates and sorting out the locations for that. But yeah, so 3 already lined up. February 7th and 8th at the West Hub in Edmonton. Then we're at Pickleplex, March 14th and 15th in Red Deer. Back in Edmonton at the YAG on the April 18th and 19th for another 3V event. So stay tuned for the announcements for registration opening for that. And MLP starts new next year, so get those points up. So make yourself eligible for the draft for the CNPL. Also eligible to then play in the qualifiers to go to wherever the U.S. Nationals will be held next year in next December. The Nationals just finished up in Dallas last weekend. And we had a couple Canadian teams who did qualify from the regionals, who went in and by the looks of it played pretty well. So super excited for that. And also, there's a big possibility that our tournaments could also be qualifiers for that Epic Championship.
I was about to ask.
I'm still bugging Yui about how exactly that works, because right now they're not. There's not a way to click them to make them be one, but the plan is for MILP events to be available to do that. So hopefully before the February one starts, that February one can be one of the first ones. If not, hopefully we get it up and running for that. So we're super excited for that. That'll be it for this episode. We do have our season finale wrap-up episode coming probably within the next 2 weeks here, where we're going to do a full year recap. We're going to do some blind rankings. We're going to do some other fun stuff on there. I got a bunch saved from Jesse that we just haven't been able to get to because of all the news that's that's happened this year. Also, I have because we're on Spotify sent me our Wrapped, so like our season wrap up. So we're gonna go over that. That we have some really good numbers to look at from that, Vic. So I'm super excited to show everyone.
That's
so big thank you to everyone. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to like us, give us a rating on Spotify or wherever podcasts you listen to us on. Anything last minute, Vic, before we close
Actually,
up?
I have a couple of things
Go
to
ahead.
tell you guys. First of all, go
Right.
see
Ernesto's
that
video.
Ernesto. Well, one-on-one. I call that one-on-one training with Ernesto video. It should be long. It was supposed to be long, dude. I did it in July. I was just procrastinating before pulling that out, and then
Yeah, but
because I was just thinking.
on the bright side though, Vic, it works out for the holidays, and also works
Yes.
out because Ernesto's launching his new platform.
Yes, exactly. Ernesto's launching his new online teaching platform on Pickleball. No, sorry, ErnestoPickleball.com. So check that out. If you're wondering how Ernesto's teaching, well, you have a prime example on this 3-part video on our YouTube channel. You can definitely check it out, because at first I was like, if you look at it, it's almost an hour 30 long, the whole 3 episodes. So that's why at first I was like, I was debating, should I run it at once, or should I separate it on 3? And finally I just decided, let's just slice it as a 3-part videos, like a 3-part 28-minute video. Like, people has more, like, if you don't have time to watch the whole thing, you can just watch one part and then just go to the next part, and so make it easier and less less I will say too much for once. So go check the videos, how, like, and you can see the differences between a 4-5 and a 5-5 in there. Definitely, you can see it, like, right away, how Ernesto is attacking versus how I'm trying to hit as hard as possible. Is 2 different level, right? So that's the reason why I was saying, like, if you have a chance, go take a course with a pro. They're so quick. They and also they are so smart. They know, they right away know, oh, what you're lacking, and what they can do in order to improve you right away. So that was a great lesson that Ernesto gave me, and big shout out to him. And actually, he's currently playing at Fort Lauderdale at the APP championship. He made it to the bank draw. So congrats to him. He's still alive. So hope he makes a good run. A couple other little things that we might be doing. We'll probably have another paddle at the hub before the end of the year. I have quite a bit of new paddle that came in. So that's gonna be equipment. I have also some new equipment that came in also. So it's gonna be interesting. Me and Dewey will definitely chat onto that. So stay tuned. And I might be adding one more segment to our channel. So because I already attended to the 2026 rule change from the USAP Pickleball. So therefore, I know already what kind of change they're gonna come in. So what am I gonna do this time? I actually will get Jesse Parts, which is a level 2 referee here in Alberta. Both of us basically we're gonna chat some of those changes and break down what and why it matters to you in sanction play.
Oh, you guys should definitely, like, keep that as a thing and do, like, a ask a ref type segments and stuff like that.
Maybe we can do that. Whatever. We'll start by doing a quick podcast together once everything is released, and then we can do that as a ref thing afterwards, because right now obviously it's not released yet. The new 2026 rulebook has not been released. I know because I'm a USAP member and a certified referee, so I got that additional insight. What is to come.
Nice. I already have a title for you, Vic.
Oh,
Foot
what's
fault.
that? You know that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it for me. Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks and Andrew. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like our video and podcast, and don't make sure to stay tuned for our MILP event.
Absolutely. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you guys in about a week or two. Cheers.
Pickleball.